All right, guys, so finally, we had enough parts come in where we could actually reassemble the cylinder heads on the 996. So this is M96 engine, and the workbench is a mess here because it takes a lot, right? So we just did one to make sure everything works all right. What we got here is our valve lapsing compound. We have that. We have our drill. We'll put links to all this in the description if you guys want to do it. This is the thing for the drill adapter. So you spin it and see how it actions. It's not just a steady deal. And what I'll do, it'll let it spin for a little bit. When you press on it, it'll stop and pick back up. And in the midst, you're running this on the valve, running in and out. Now, we have a spring compressor, very inexpensive one. It works really good, but I wish it had a nut on the end, but you got to put the little bar in and turn it. Very inexpensive. I'll put a link to this description also. We have a little bit of a lube ball. I don't think you can buy this anymore. You need some sort of grease on reassembly for the valve stem where it goes through the new valve seal. Now, we have all new valve seals here, all OEM valve seals from L-Ring. You see right here. Here's the old one we took out. It was a real nightmare to get off of there, but we finally got it off of there. So what we're going to do here, here's the whole kit for that too, the box for it, in case you're wondering. It has enough attachments for it to do whatever size valves you're doing, whether it's a lawnmower, a car, whatever have you. So essentially what we're going to do, we already done this one. We're going to flip this up and do this other one. I wonder if I could flip it like this so you guys can see what's happening here. Probably. We're going to have to essentially hook it in like so. We've already done, which one was it? This one? Yes. We're going to go in here on this one. Oh, we got it flipped around backwards here. Stand by. I go this way, hook it in like that, and we're going to tighten up on the back. If you can see that on the back, it doesn't really matter, but that's going to allow us to compress this like that. Now, we have our little pin so we could turn it. And what that's going to do is going to gently compress that spring. Let me pull this slide in here. There we go. See, it just popped. So this is going to serve two purposes. We're going to lapse the valves in, and we have to replace the valve seal. I'll let Monty get in here and pull that keeper out of there with a magnet. May not be quite there yet. That's it. There's two keepers. And let me see when I'll show the camera. This way you don't want to lose. If you're not confident, you're pretty clumsy, it might be in your interest to get a few extra ones of these before you start this. We have a little magnetic tray right here. We're going to put those in. So right now, that's out of here. I'm just going to loosen this. And you're going to see that this is going to come out. Like so. And it would be quicker if they had a ratchet you could hook to this thing, but it doesn't, so it just is what it is. Once the tension gets off of it, we use our fingers and spin it out. And there's a couple more things here we're going to show you. So by the end of this video, you guys should be able to do your own valves, no problem at all, if you don't have any major damage on anything. Okay, pull that out of there. Let's stand this up over here. What's that magnet once? We're going to pull that out of there. Don't forget to put that back in. It's going to be a real bad time if you do. And then we're just going to be able to take this and push the valve out. Now, let me put that back in just for 1 second here because you see how it passes through real easy? It's got definitely got some wear on it. It should have a fairly snug, I mean, it's not too bad, but there is that. Here's the back of the valve. So it's pretty built up. I mean, Overall, the valve's sealing pretty good. We're gonna go in Lapse anyway, get a little more surface out of it. So what we're gonna have to do is take our drill. We have a little wire brush. We need a bench grinder. And we're just gonna wire brush all that crap off of there and off the face. So when we go back on, our suction cup sticks to the face of the valve really good. If it's dirty, it will not. So let's set that over here for right now. We're gonna take probably our pry bar and we're going to gingerly pop this out. We'll try a pair of pliers, but the last one was a real bear. We already done one of these. And so yeah, we'll be right back when we get this thing out. We got the old one out. I mean, these, like I've done a lot of heads in my life. This is probably the hardest valve stem seals to come out for some reason. So we have the new one here. We're not going to put any lubricant on that. We have a 10 mil, a 6.10 mil. That seems to be the perfect size to fit over top of that. Essentially all we're going to do, make sure it's all clean. We're going to take our rubber mallet and just gingerly tap the new one right on until it stops. I'll let Philip get in there and show you that. And that's it. So what we're going to do next is flip this up. We're going to, oh, we forgot to clean this. All right, we'll clean this. We'll be right back. There we go. And we're only doing this because we don't have a bench grinder, which might fix that. I tell you what though, this is a lot safer than a bench grinder. Bench grinder, rip out your hand and throw it right in your forehead. But you need two people to do this. So it's not really, you can see I took all the stuff off of there. And we also clean this because we need to stick our suction cup on the end of that. So what we're gonna do here is flip our head over. We're gonna get our valve lapsing compound. We're gonna take a rag and wipe the head out first. We're gonna put a very small amount on here. Like that on the valve, all right? Put a little bit of lubricant on here just so it doesn't mess that new seal up. Let him on, he can grind that in. I'm gonna put the cast back and all this stuff, or you want me to do it? So we're just gonna stick this on here like so. You don't want to go very fast. And if you ever hear it squeaking, that means it's dry. I'm not pushing on it, I'm just barely going down against it. Probably getting pretty close. These aren't very messed up. If you have a brand new valve you need to do this to, you're gonna have to go a lot further. And I'm gonna show you here what you're looking to get out of this. What you're looking to get out of this is a very even seat. See the grayness all the way around it. But if you don't have enough surface, that's the mating surface to that cylinder head. If you don't have enough, you need to go further. So you not only need to look at this, you also need to look at this and make sure that the head is also seated in evenly around there. And then what we'll do before we reassemble, let's take a little bit of brake parts cleaner, give it a little squirt. I'm going to wipe off any of that existing compound around there on the valve and on the cylinder head. And now we have a perfectly mated surface. Obviously, these are very close. If you have a lot of burnage on the valve, you might need a new valve. But you can almost always, as long as the seat's good, you can always lapse it in and do it up like that. So let's do that. We're going to stand this back up. And essentially all we're going to do is reinstall everything onto here. And how that works is set that in and put our valve seat washer back in. Put that in like so. And we're just going to snug it up with our fingers. Take a little bar, and we're going to turn this all the way back down. You can see here until we can see all the little ribs. Make sure your spring is all in the slot right. Everything is good. You can see it's starting to expose little rings down in there. Make sure all 3 rings are exposed. Okay, just like that. We're going to take probably take our gloves off for this one. And then you could use some guys use a magnet. You could use a magnet. I have a very small pair of pliers. The best tool to use is a tiny little pair of needle nose, and then actually came in with a pick and position those clamps, those keepers in. Let them take this off of there. And my friend Kevin that does this nearly every day, what he does is takes a socket a little bit bigger than that, something like that, and he'll take like a rubber mallet and tap it a little bit and make sure that everything's locked in there. So when you start the engine, it doesn't pop off and rocket off. Not much, just enough to make it click. And you can see, look at Philip get you down in here. You can see down here how everything's locked in correctly. If something doesn't look right on there, you need to fix it, because what's going to happen if that keeper is not locked in there right and it falls out, you're going to drop a valve, it's going to grenade the engine. Now these cars with $15,000 to $20,000 engines, that's pretty severe, pretty quick, and that's it. So we've done 2 valves. There's a lot more to do, boys. We're not going to do all this on this video, but we just kind of wanted to show you what the deal is and how to do this. So essentially, we have everything here. What we need: torque wrench and timing tools, and then we could put these heads back on the engine. So just the weight. We're getting close to Christmas. The weight is severe on some of this stuff. Like we get some stuff in right away. Some stuff would stop in different states and just sit there and sit there and sit there and sit there for days or weeks and not move. So there is that. If you have any questions, write in the comments below. I'm sure everybody has different ways of doing this. These heads are already decked at the machine shop. You can send this out to the machine shop to have all the valve seats ground. We've done probably, over the years, a countless amount of engines. Never had a problem. This engine doesn't really need the valves lapsed in, but we're doing it anyway. So we're right there. Like, why not? It's another, 2 minutes literally while we have the valve seals out. And we weren't about to put it in with these old valve seals in it, because we don't want to find out down the road that it smokes on cold start. And then you're wondering if it's a bore score problem or if it's a valve seal problem. So we're knocking that out right now. The bore score on this thing was pretty much perfect. No issues at all. So that should guarantee whoever buys this car from us will have a really, really good engine. We're kind of building it as a no spent spared operation here. And we are waiting on the upper gasket set. We have L-ring head gaskets for it, the real deal. No Chinese here, boys. Because there's a couple things you don't want to mess with. It's Chinese, especially head gaskets. And if we put Chinese gaskets, seals or gaskets like on the spark plug tubes, they're going to leak. So we have a whole Victor Rhines headset coming for it. Upper headset, I guess you call it, without the head gaskets. And everything should be really, really on par. That's going to be it, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. We'll see y'all later.